conference will now be recorded.
I got 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting in order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I just need adoption of the agenda.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. We'll open the public comment portion. Individuals may address the city council about any item of concern. Speakers must state their name and limit the remarks to 3 minutes. Any public comment portion? I will close the public portion and I will go to consent agenda. All items listed in the consent agenda are considered routine by council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless council member requests, in which the case will be item will removed from the consent agenda and be considered in its normal sequence of agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Accounts payable, Fred.
Okay, it's pretty self-explanatory on the big items are the water meter project that's going on, 102,000. Workman's comp, looks like it was due, and then the air ambulance was due. Inspection fees was 11,000. That went to Safe Build. I think that was 2 invoices. I came down and checked on it. That was an invoice for December and then one late in the fall that, I don't know, didn't get sent or did. So that's why that's so high in the winter here. Any questions? I'd make a motion to pay the accounts payable of $304,732.28.
Second.
Any further discussion on that, council? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Fred. We'll jump down to a new business. Ordinance 2603, 2024 Bridgeview Apartments rezoned. Miles.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So this ordinance is kind of an odd one. It's with our Bridgeview Apartments building, but it's actually memorializing the rezone that we did in 2024, which we never had a resolution or ordinance actually binding our council decision. So this is basically the same thing you saw on April 18th, 2024. That was approved on a 4-1 vote. But we were in the process of changing attorneys at the time, so it kind of slipped a little through the mud. And so we are just doing it now to make sure that there's a binding document for, title reasons. So there's no issues in the future with this property, and kind of covering the city's back a little bit as well, too.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-03.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Passes 3-2. Thanks, Miles. Let's jump down to 6B, ordinance 2026-04 Bridgeview Apartments land sale rezone. Myers.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Again, this is the other third parcel that is part of this project. Again, kind of in a weird one because there's 3 separate parcels for this chunk of land. So you can see kind of on, I guess I didn't attach the map, but there's this third sliver that's where our parking went, which is the city-owned land that we sold to Keller Bartman Properties in December in 2025 for a price of $3,600. Because a portion of the building will be on that land, they need all 3 parcels to complete the project. And we're selling them and rezoning it to PUD so that they can actually construct over all 3 parcels. Will need to still get their lots combined to do this, but that will be on the developer next. So Planning Commission voted to approve this on a 4-1 vote last week in February 10th. And so we're going to bring it forward to council tonight.
Any questions on Miles on the rezone? I think it's all pretty much legality stuff that we're cleaning up right now, so.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2026-404.
I'll second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Passes 3-2. Thanks, Miles. We'll jump to 6C, Bridgeview Apartment Site Plan Approval. The Miles Show.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As part of the Bridgeview Apartments project, we are bringing forward the site plan approval letter from our city engineer, Bill Angerman. We had these site plans conditionally approved by him, as you can see, in August. We've just been holding on to them because sometimes plans change. They've been part of the building permit process right now, so we're just bringing that letter for you tonight. You may wonder why they're not in there, but that's because they're also doing the building permit right now, and it's possible some of these things may change. That doesn't mean that the conditions change at all. And as part of this letter, you can see that it's a conditional approval. Most of these conditions have been satisfied at this point. I think the only one we were still waiting on was maybe the right of entries, but that's up to the business owners and the development. That doesn't really change the process of the site plans at all. It's just whether or not there's going to be a new paved alley going back there as well.
Any questions or comments on that?
So this letter came from Bill Angerman, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so there's a list of 9 things or 7 things, whatever. What's done and what isn't done off of this, that was dated the 26th of August, 2025.
What was done on that date or
That's the
just
date
now?
that This letter was sent to us.
Yes.
So what is done and what is not done of the list that is on here?
The only thing that has not been done is 7B, which is the alleyway easements or right of entry permissions. Everything else has been satisfied and completed by us. And most of it is administrative approvals for the most part anyway. That's the only one that hasn't been done. And that one really is more of up to the property owners themselves because they don't have to agree to do that, but that just means they don't get a paved alleyway in their property.
They don't get their portion of the alley. So they would have to stop at the property line and cut it, and then the old pavement would remain up to so there's 2 of them left to be signed, I believe. And that is not because, that was only because they didn't make it to the meeting.
Yeah.
Where the
And we-
others were signed.
And for these site plans, we held an open house with all the adjacent landowners and business owners. So they got to see the site plans as well. And Bill Angerman and Andy Bartman were here to explain that as well as their engineer. I think Johnson Schofield was here. And so they explained everything to them and brought those right of entry letters, but not everyone was there. So they kind of had to track people down as well. So that's kind of the holdup on that too.
Property owners are on that, you know, is there 7?
I was thinking there's 5.
Okay. So 2 of them are still left to sign.
Yes, I believe so. I haven't been up on that one, but yeah.
So on that site plan, on the last time, or the property, you said they had drawn part of the building on city property anyway,
Yep, that's correct.
and that was done from original.
It wasn't originally that way, but somewhere along the line, the engineering firm had done that and we caught it. And that's kind of why that's why we ended up selling the land to them and kind of doing all of this stuff like the rezoning too, because we weren't aware of that at the time, but it was not in the original site plans that you saw back in 2024 or even early 2025 when I first began. Somewhere along the line, the engineers had changed that. We don't really know where, but it kind of happened and then we adjusted from there. Our engineers caught it, Bill Angerman caught it and was able to inform us so that we were able to make the correct decisions for council.
And then, because that alley is going to be a one-way now, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Who makes that decision to change that?
Goodhue County made that choice.
Well, that was an option.
It's a condition, it was a condition of approval from Goodhue County Engineering on basically the driveway or the in and out of the parking ramp below, basically separation distance.
Which way is the one-way and exiting? 3rd? Okay.
Yeah.
Which to me makes
And it's all part of the approval of the site plans and all of that. It'll be regraded, so it won't be that severe climb. I saw a semi hung up there the other day again, well, a few weeks ago, but we won't have that anymore. It'll be all new, all paved, all orderly back there, new parking. Yeah, completely cleaned up.
Motion to approve the site plans. Is that right?
Correct.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Passes 3-2. Brain fart. Let's do a 6D Bridgeview Apartments Development Agreement. Miles?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. This is the final thing for this Bridgeview Apartments on this council meeting, and hopefully at all that we'll have to deal with. But over the last few months, we've been working on negotiating and creating this development agreement, which will inform our construction process on this development, and will have the correct fees that the developer needs to owe the city as part, and what their responsibility is to the city while they're constructing during this project. And so I've attached the finalized agreement that we came to for your guidance and discussion. A few items of note. Again, I also remind you that the first building didn't have a development agreement at all. So I think having one at all on this one is a really good sign too. But to make a couple of points that we came to, that there's a 2-year warranty on our public improvements that will bind the developer to paying for themselves if there was an issue within that 2-year gap. We would then, if there was an issue, the city would pay for it up front, but we would assess them the cost difference. So they would still pay for it. It would just be upfront cost for the city, but would be repaid by the developer in time as well. The alleyway parking, which council had requested to remain open to the public, will be open to the public on a first come, first served basis. Still serving the residents of the building too, but it's open to all, like council was asking for originally. So we were happy that we were able to get that as part of the agreement. The city has no cost really at all with this project at all. We don't pay anything. This is all the developer's responsibility. It's their responsibility to pay for public improvements, which are estimated to be around $80,000. The city has no obligation or cost to do these public improvements if the developer were to default. And you can see that in the agreement as well. So yeah, I'll open that up to questions on development agreement.
I know there's been talk about how close they are to the culvert. I've had people approach me. If we have to redo that culvert sometime, how close is it to the culvert?
I don't know that answer. I don't know, Brian.
A portion of it is real close, right next to the culvert, but we built that culvert from the inside out. Basically, the foundation needs to be below the culvert, so you don't put any imposed lateral loads on the culvert. But as far as, and this was discussed real early on too, where does there need to be a 30-foot easement or something like that to get equipment in there? And talking to our engineers and their engineers and everybody's engineers, they said, no, we don't build them that way. They can be maintained from within that space. Is that your understanding, Jeff?
Yeah. I mean, do we have any protection if we're doing that culvert and something happens to that building?
If something happens to the building when we're redoing it?
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna bring heavy equipment in there, there's
Yeah, maybe.
gonna be some shoring.
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the construction process, but liability, if they damage the culvert, of course, would be on them.
But if we're
And
doing
then
the
if we're
culvert,
back in there rebuilding the culvert, yeah, I would assume there'd be some responsibility. Mike Flaherty, would you be able to chime in on responsibility if and when we have to, well, when we have to repair that culvert, if we do some damage to their building, how's that liability generally work?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I think I'm not quite understanding the question. If it's during construction, so the public improvements are very small in this project. They're about $90,000. And so they would have to install those improvements and complete the construction, and they would be responsible. I think what the council member is asking though is, what if 4 years from now, or in the future, if there was damage? That I don't know. That I don't think is covered by the development agreement, if that's what he's asking. But if it's during the construction, before the city engineer certifies or signs off on the improvements, they would be responsible under the development agreement. If it's years later and we're saying that culvert needs to be reconstructed or fixed, I don't think that circumstance is covered by this development agreement or any of the approvals this would be giving. But I think that's a plan that's an issue for the construction plans that you just approved. I think it's got to be designed in a way where that won't happen, and the city engineer should review that and approve that. So that's kind of a long-winded answer. Does that answer the question? Sorry, I don't know your voices, so I don't know who's speaking, but
No, I was just asking, say 10 years down the road, we do the culvert and something happens to the building, who's responsible for the building? City or? I was just looking, should we have protection in here for being that it's so close to the culvert?
So you're saying the opposite. If the city reconstructs the culvert and damages the building?
Correct.
Being that it's so close, I would just.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't be covered by this agreement. I mean, the city is obviously liable for damage they cause to private property anytime we do a public improvement project. That goes without saying. I mean, we have to, fix land, private property we damage. So whether or not it will be a problem or is likely to be a problem is more of an engineering question. I don't know. Probably depends on how close it is and that maybe Bill can speak to it. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, anytime you do any public improvement project, a road reconstruction project or anything, we have to fix private property that we damage. So whether it will be a problem, I don't know. Maybe somebody else or maybe Brian answered that already.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem, but there's always a chance. It wouldn't be a loading problem because the lateral loads and on how they're going to work and the amount of soil between the building and the culvert, there's not going to be an issue with that. It would be something where, if they swung a piece of equipment and hit the building on the outside chance that might happen. Yeah, I would say that the city would probably be liable at that point.
Yeah, then you have insurance. I mean, you have your LMCIT coverage. And I know that that's part of within the scope of your coverage if you check your coverage guides. So you're covered by insurance, but you're responsible to pay. Yes. I mean, you can't damage the building if you're going to do a project like that.
But I would assume if it's the contractor doing the work hits the building, it would be their problem and not the city's problem.
Of course. You have performance and payment bonds, and you have security instruments as part of your construction contracts with your general contractor and your subcontractors. And ultimately the city, there's waivers in those contracts, waivers of liability, and they have to have insurance to the Tort Claims Act. That's the responsibility for your insurance. And they would have to agree to indemnify us and hold us harmless and list the city as a named insured, and you would make a claim under that. If you're hiring a third party contractor, if it's the city in there doing some work and they damage it, I think you're just stuck with your LMCIT coverage probably.
Yeah. And it looks like the closest that the building gets is one corner is about 8 or 10 feet from the culvert. And then it angles off. So 8 or 10 feet right at one corner where the point is, and then quite a bit more in both directions.
Yeah. Ultimately, this is your engineer needs to review their plans and approve them, approve the developer's plans as sufficient and meeting legal standards or not. And if they're building too close to a culvert, that would be an engineering issue and they wouldn't be able to do that. But I assume Bill would be okay with what they're building or it would come up before now.
Yes, yeah, we had this discussion way back at the beginning as well. And with the engineers that way. Not necessarily the other way where if we're in there repairing later, our liability. But yeah, I think to answer that question, yeah, if we damage a building, were liable, the contractor and the city. So,
Did I understand you correctly that there is going to be some rework done on the culvert in the construction process?
no,
No.
nope, they're not touching the culvert. Nope. Nope, and the culvert's really good right now. We talked to Jess from the county on that too, to get some projections. We were talking about that, and it's filling up with silt, but that's normal, and there was a whole bunch of discussion. And one of the things was the condition of the culvert, and it's really good. So I don't envision it's gonna be touched for a long time, but eventually it will have to be.
Sections of that are precast and other sections in that area have been turned to, they were actually formed and poured. So it's pretty robust in that area as it turns and it comes across Second Street. And then again, too, like we said with the design, the footing is, I believe at least the thickness of the footing below the base of that or the culvert itself. So that way, when you do a project, you remove it, that you're not at the depth of that basement foundation to the apartment itself.
Correct. Yep.
That all work is done higher elevations.
I didn't see anything about snow. Is there we just do a snow removal in that alley once it's all done, the same as we
Yep.
do the alley, and they take care of the parking then?
Yep, when we spoke, they were gonna treat it the same way as they do their other one. We do our alleyway, they do their parking stalls.
Okay. I think it may be said in there, but I guess that alley will stay open through the whole construction, right?
Not necessarily. Parts of it, it's gonna depend on, they're gonna be bringing a crane in there at different points, and yeah. So there'll be times in that alley will be restricted for sure. Of course, when they rebuild the slope on the one end, it'll be closed for a while then.
I think they're gonna try and utilize the slanted parking across from Nielsen's for a lot of staging and stuff during construction.
That's what they did last time too, right? On their other building.
Yep, and then it is spelled out in here that the cars for the workers, they'll go park in a public lot, not take up Nielsen's parking, or we had some of that last time. They were parking right in front of the businesses, and the general contractor took care of that pretty quickly, so that is addressed as well. Can't remember where you were at, if you had a motion yet.
No,
Make a motion to approve the Bridgeview Apartment Development Agreement.
Second.
any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 3-2. Thanks, Miles. Resolution 2026-06, conditional use permit, 910 West 2nd Street. Miles.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
So tonight bringing you from Planning Commission, an approval for a conditional use permit at 910 West 2nd Street. This permit is going to be used to install a manufactured home on the lot while the primary building receives major repairs. The manufactured home will not encroach setbacks, as far as I'm aware, within residential zoning code. And I was under the impression that manufactured homes must require a conditional use permit within residential zoning. However, Mike and I had some discussions earlier today, as well with Brian, that we are not entirely sure if that is the case or not. I was using section 3 of our zoning code, which is general district provisions, which has a provision in there that states manufactured homes are only allowed in RMH districts, which are for mobile trailer parks, or where a conditional use permit or variance has been granted as set forth and regulated by this ordinance. However, our interpretation is that possibly that our zoning code doesn't explicitly list a manufactured home as a conditional use. And so we think that it's totally possibly okay under zoning ordinance. So we still have some possible problems, because if that were the case too, then they might have to meet our regular building performance standards, which has a plethora of other restrictions and regulations, just like any zoning code has and building code has as well. So I gave you what they brought, the Hennings brought today to look at for what they were planning to put there. Kind of opening up for discussion, but we are possibly not looking to have an approval at this time right now while we kind of sort out possible details of what our zoning code is okay with, what is okay under state law even as well. So possibly looking forward at a March 5th council meeting for having some more time for us to kind of discuss as staff.
I have a couple of questions without knowing very little what's going on here. Is one, why do we need a mobile home or a manufactured home there right now? Because my question is anybody living in that, in them two properties that are being worked? And what is the projection of the remodel, or what's this property going to be used for, is the first two questions. Because my question would be, if there's nobody living in this property that we're remodeling, why do we have to put a manufactured home on that property if there's nobody living there now? So that's kind of my two questions. And if council has more questions, we'll kind of let you speak on that, and then we can go from there.
Sure. My name is Justine Luxford, and Matt and I are here as city council to approve the conditional use permit for a manufactured home on 910 West 2nd Street. And the reason that is Matt and I currently rent, and the landowners want to do something different with the property. So we have, our realtor has shown us many different homes, and all that is within our budget are fixer-uppers and in need of much work. So that led us to moving into the manufactured homes. I'd love to pass this out. I only have two copies. Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So yeah, that led us to, looking at manufactured homes.
So, sorry to interrupt. So currently, right now,
There is
you're
some,
living somewhere else, and it's not going to work. Whoever owns the property, or so you're forced to leave, and you want to put a manufactured home on here while you're doing.
yes.
Okay. I just want to
renovating.
make sure I'm
Yeah,
clear. Okay,
and
perfect.
To answer your questions, I'm sorry, no one is living in the buildings that are there right now. And I forget your other question.
What's the idea or the function of these properties that you're
Yes.
going to renovate? I mean, are you
Yeah.
building a home, a rental property?
Right. Ultimately, yeah, our goal is, getting this, putting a manufactured home puts us in the position to be able to afford to renovate the building that is there and make it livable. Be it for us or possibly selling to make it a home for someone, our age being, I understand that this is a contingent on a 10-year, the condition has already been set by the planning committee that it's a 10-year deal. Hopefully we'd be there at that time, that it would be livable. That would be the plan.
The one quick note, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
When you say a 10-year plan, what's a 10-year plan? I'm lost on what you mean by it. What's the 10-year plan? 10-year plan of having the mobile home there to get that property completed, or?
Correct. And according to the last meeting that we had with the planning committee, that the conditional use permit, they agreed that it would be reviewed at 10 years. So that we have it in our heads that, yes, we'd like to have it, as much done. We don't have anything written out because we don't have any numbers or anything like that. But we do know that we'd have, with the ability to afford this money to put towards the building, to rehab it and to renovate it. So, and I know that, we have that 10-year condition on that to review, I guess, by city council and what the further plan is from that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to add that the ultimate goal is to, make that beautiful and historic building livable.
But as of right now, you have no plans, no sketching, no cost to get that beautiful, correct?
Well, we do have
Just the roof.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have the roof. That would be the first thing. And
Which
we
is
had,
probably not cheap.
No, and
He
which
definitely-
made
an
us look
estimate.
in other directions. because we'll need time, you know.
Because that was our first thought as well, we'll put a roof on and,
Mhm.
but there's other things that need to be happening and, yeah. It will take time. But to add it, it is a beautiful historic building and to be, I think it'd be a positive addition to Zumbrota.
Council, do you have any more questions for the homeowners?
Well, I'm on the zoning part of it, and when we talked about it, we didn't know about this information at all, what he had said. And then after we voted on it, I was driving by there, and that was my next thing, is like, I think we gotta treat it as a home, because I got looking at his dad's house, because our setbacks are either the setback or it can't stick out in front. And when I was driving by, I looked and thought, oh, it goes in there and it gets pretty close to that other building. That's why I was just suggesting site plans and all that, like would be after I had drove by and looked at it. And so I just think, like Miles said, there's a lot of legwork to do.
So, Mayor and Council,
Yes.
can I ask a couple questions of the applicant?
You sure can, Mr. Attorney.
Okay, thank you. So maybe this is on the handout, but where on the property are you planning to put it? Is it going to be in the front yard or in the
Yes.
back yard?
The street side,
The street side, and that is in Miles, that's the front yard?
yes.
Yes.
There is a high wire, heavy duty, I don't know what it'd be called.
Power lines in the
Power
back.
lines in the back, so it kind of, we wouldn't be able to put it in the back.
And then how close to the house is it, or what I'm calling the house, but the existing structure, how close is it going to be to that structure?
Probably 25, 30 feet.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
And then how close to the street or to the front lot line, do you think?
Maybe 40 feet.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to get clarification on those. I think that my view of this, I looked at this just today for the first time, and I think it needs some more thought. I think we need to put a little bit more work into figuring out the legal path. There's a legal path to allow this and what that would be. So that's my advice to the council, is just to table this and we'll take a little deeper look at it.
In my opinion, obviously I have a lot of questions or a lot of concerns on that. One, I've never been in that building, so I don't know even and I'm no builder or stuff, but by looking at the roof, it's gonna need a lot of work. I'm also concerned if we did allow a manufactured home on the property, if it's 1 year, 10 years, when that time comes, how are we gonna get rid of it? Because once you got the footings or the plumbing, the structure. But then I also look at it's not zoned for manufactured homes. So then we're gonna have issues with other residents making precedents for other areas to do the same thing. So them are some of my concerns up front, and not having a definite plan where you're going, what you're doing, kind of has some other questions of what's gonna be done. Can I see the sheets?
So, Mayor, can I ask one more question?
Sure can.
So ma'am, are you planning on putting it on a foundation, like a concrete foundation?
No, that is not our plan.
Okay.
So
So how is it going to sit on the property then? Or are you going to put skirts on it, or is it a trailer style, or is it a house style?
well, they all have a photograph of it in front of them. I don't know. It does have a pitched roof and there's a covered front porch, and we do plan to put cement underpinning or skirting under it to, be more aesthetic and to the neighborhood.
So the foundation will be like a trailer house, pillars of blocks on.
Correct.
And then anchored down.
And then anchored down.
Correct.
So you intended, just from a public works standpoint, like sewer and water hookups to this?
Yes.
That was my other question too, when I was looking at, is there water and sewer to the building now?
Yes.
So can they have two hookups per property?
You might need a variance on that too. Can you?
That I don't know right off.
Because I thought somebody said.
My
one time
neighbor and I
they
are on one.
Do you want to check into this? No. Really? You're only on one hookup?
There used to be 3 of us on one.
Oh, really?
It's old and we're looking at getting that replaced, but
That's the sewer part.
the sewer, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. My opinion is I think we need more answers to it. I mean,
It's an intriguing proposition. I understand where you're looking at it, and especially in our day and age with this economy, that it's hard to get into something anymore. So, I mean, I like it, but there are a lot of questions that just gotta do some more due diligence on.
And I think from a city standpoint, I'd love to see that place fixed up. You know, as someone who used to go sledding back there quite a bit. That building was always.
Still do.
You know, yeah, no, I haven't sledded for years. Probably break a hip.
If I'm on site, I can do a lot to it myself as well. But currently I'm 15 miles away, you know, and we are being
Well, that's
forced
gonna
out
be-
basically of where I'm at now is unacceptable living conditions really. And so the landlord wants to do something different, you know, but that's drove us to wanting our own place, you know, doing with what I can with what I have, basically.
But this is not necessarily not fixing up for a house.
Possibly. I mean,
That's the idea.
I mean, to make it livable.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
So that-
Yes.
Yeah.
Mobile home or, well, I guess I call it a mobile home, would be there until you can live in this place.
Correct.
So
Yeah, and that could be.
from a city standpoint, it's an opportunity to get this building fixed up and looking
Yes.
good.
Yes.
But there are laws that we have to follow, and that's what we're a little leery of.
Mhm.
You know, I think we would all agree that, hey, that the prospect of being able to get it fixed up is great. You know, I don't think we've allowed any of these type of homes, mobile homes on piers, on foundations. Well, I know we have a couple on foundations, but those are more modular homes, no wheels, no tongue, and, you know, it's craned in there, put down, and it's on a foundation. Those are in residential areas. There's a couple of those, but, you know, to say, okay, you know, to me, there's an argument that, hey, they're gonna fix the place up. This is gonna be 10 years, a long time. I was thinking 2 years in my head, but, you know, whatever it needs to be, we just, you know, tonight will be some more information and we'll be in contact with you, I think, for more information.
Yeah.
So we fully vet this along with our city attorney and our city engineer as well and Public Works. And so we know exactly everything that's going to have to go into it. You know, I don't know if there's any neighbors at the public hearing. No. Are there any neighbors that wish to speak now? Oh, sorry, Tom, I'm stepping on your feet.
no, go ahead.
So, you know, if there's no neighbors that showed up, I guess that's our answer on that.
Some positive reactions from neighbors too.
Well, I'm sure everybody wants the place fixed up, so.
It is my home site too. It's where I grew up.
Yep, I know, yeah.
To kind of build up the Todd's question, you have no idea what it's gonna cost you to fix the building. I mean,
I know that the roof's gonna cost 40,000.
right, but I mean, to make it.
Other
into
than
a
that,
home,
no, I
I
haven't.
mean, is there a point that you would get to where like, well, that's gonna cost us way too much money to make a house out of that? And then,
Well, I wouldn't want to look at it like that, ever, really. I'd try to do what it needed to be done to make it at least structurally sound, you know.
Well, actually, it is structurally sound now. There's just.
Well, the roof.
Well, besides the roof, we did have an engineer come
Yeah.
a structural engineer and assess the building. And, you know, so it is sound, it just needs renovation.
He said he thought I had a gem. And so it was encouraging to hear from a professional that, yes, it's possible to have this fixed up and is worthwhile, is what I've been told. And that being close to Rochester too might add the attraction to any other person working out of Rochester, Mayo Clinic, that would want to live in a big home, you know, an old home like that.
you probably got a possibility of, in your thought, is if it gets to be too much, you cut it into living quarters with apartments or something?
Yeah, or make just a living space for ourselves. It would be, yes.
I would like to add that we did look at modulars. It's just the price. Yeah. Oh, it's.
And that would be more permanent. We talked about that earlier too, with the
Yeah,
foundation. And
right,
and if this is temporary, while you fix it up, that really doesn't lend itself to
right.
a permanent, another permanent structure. And there's discussions about what's the primary structure? Can you have 2 dwelling units? There's all this stuff that we need to look at. But yeah, I completely understand, the setup that you're talking about. It makes sense for the purpose. It's just a matter of how do we fit it into our ordinance and not have this everywhere.
Yep, right.
I mean, I know another thing, now I'm just jumping the gun a little bit. I obviously would not be a fan of doing a 10-year, even if I would allow that. Because here's my thinking, we do it 10 years, you're gonna finish it up on your 10th year and move it out. So that is one of my thinking, that I would definitely do a shorter, I would even struggle with 5 years, to be honest with you, my opinion. Could I handle a year or two? Maybe. There's some other hiccups that I don't like about it, but I definitely would not be a fan of a 10-year PUD or whatever they call it, a variance. Would be one of the things that I would have, because it would be 10 years or the 9th year you'd finish that project. Or you don't finish it, now what do we do as a city? Because you've been there 10 years, you've done it. So that is a couple of questions that have come to my mind on that, that I'm probably still gonna have questions and stuff like that, so. So I would recommend, like what Miles and Brian and the attorney had said, that let's try to get some more information prior to next council meeting. And then if we want to make a decision either way, or what the layout is.
Yeah, and we talked about that too. There's a 60-day rule where we need to make a decision within 60 days. I think we'll have time to March 5th, but we might ask for an extension on that, just in case. As we do the research, we want to work with you and try to make this happen, but we have to be within the ordinance and the laws as well. And it's going to take a little bit more time. So we'll make sure that we're complying with the rules as far as that goes to make a decision on your request. And like Miles said, maybe it's not even a conditional use permit. In retrospect, looking at more sections of the ordinance. So we'll study all that.
Mile, when does the 60 days start? When did that start? Do you know
I
roughly?
don't remember the exact date, but I believe they applied late January at some point. So I think we're probably okay to go through March 5th at the very minimum. So that'd be my guess, but I would have to go back and look at the
Know what the
application.
date was when you filed it?
Oh, I do
Okay,
not.
okay, that's
That's okay.
Whatever it was, I had to send out public notices, obviously in advance of planning commission too. So it was at least 10 days before, so it was at least late January. So
Well, we'll make sure we're.
So by end of March, we're probably going to, is that gonna give enough time for yourself, Public Works, Brian, attorney, to look at that? Or do we wanna make it, just say by the 19th, we'll have everything, we'll make a decision? And it's up to you. Let's try for the 5th?
Yeah, when we're ready, it'll be back on the
Okay.
agenda.
Okay, perfect.
Do you need any contact information if you have any questions, or does Miles have
Do you have
that?
the contact information for that?
information, so I'm good.
Yeah, I would imagine we'll be speaking more with you and maybe have you in for a meeting, but, yeah.
Do we need to table that? Do we have to make a motion or just?
Just not take action is what
Okay.
we had talked about. I think that's right, Mike?
Yeah, you can either just not take action, and everybody always says table, but if you have a specific item, it's a motion to postpone is the correct motion. But I would just move on and not vote on it tonight. That's fine.
That's kind of what I think we need to do, is get some more information.
Sure.
Perfect. Thanks for coming in.
Thank
I
you.
love, like you said, I love to see that.
Yeah.
There's just some questions with
Yeah.
the ordinances and other neighborhoods
Yeah.
and neighbors that I gotta think of too.
Yep.
Perfect.
Thank you for your
Thanks,
time.
guys.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank you.
coming
All right.
Appreciate it.
One quick thing, 6F work session. This is to discuss the pool bid,
What next steps?
or the next steps for all the above.
And the revised personnel policy.
Okay. So we're looking at, like to do it next week, either Tuesday or Wednesday. Time is kind of open. I was thinking maybe the 24th, the Tuesday at 4, to start with that. That work for you, Fred?
And the reason for next
Let
week,
me look at my schedule.
the reason for next week is because we, depending on how the final numbers shake out with these bids, we would be asking council to act on those on March 5th. So we want to squeeze it in between.
So that's why it's so quick.
So when's the bid opening?
Bid opening was the 17th, and then we're going to ask the council to act on it possibly on March 5th. But we want to have a work session to kind of talk through everything.
Have fun. I'm gone.
The bid opening was, you said?
It was, yeah, we already had the bid opening. Yep, and that's, yes. So that was on my reports here. We'll get to that, but, really, you could slip into the beginning of the week, the council week, I suppose, too, if you needed to.
I don't know. I mean, I would prefer to do it next week, just because if we have some questions or some more work we have the city staff to do before we make that decision. I think if Kim needs to work numbers or don't work numbers, I would like to do it. So I'm throwing out the 24th to start out, to see if everybody can make that.
If you guys can make it work, I probably don't have, Friday's my only evening that has any openings on it this coming week, so.
That's the only one
That's the only one that's open. Everything else is booked out.
Tuesday works for me.
I mean, Tuesday works for me. I mean,
Tuesday works.
I hate to, I mean.
No, if it works for you
everybody
guys,
works, I
that's-
mean, I just hate to do it on Friday, because
Yep.
when you're business owners, you take a lot of Fridays off. So, and,
Let's see, you're a business owner, right? You're right, Todd?
what?
You are a business owner, right?
My wife is, I just
Oh,
work
okay.
for her. I know, I do. So Joan, is the 24th at 4 work?
Oh, yes.
So I mean, I know Brian and I had talked earlier and he was like, he can kind of catch me up. So if you guys,
I can bring you up to speed.
yeah,
But
so,
I'd like to have at least 4:20.
I mean, you can't make any, you don't need a quorum, really.
it's just a discussion, right? I mean, and just kind of everybody gets
Yep.
some information and.
Yeah, it's basically giving information and then, discussion.
Yeah.
How does the 3rd look? Are you still gone, Joan?
We don't get home until the 6th, so I'll actually miss the 5th.
Oh, yeah, you did say that, so.
So it's,
Does that work, the 3rd work for you, Kevin?
I'm open on the 3rd.
Fred?
How
What time?
about a 7 AM?
What do you have going on the 3rd?
I can be here at what time?
I don't know, I'm just seeing if that work, I mean, I'm open.
I can be here at 4. There's a baseball pack meeting at, at 6.
Hasn't changed over the last 6 years. They've had back
6:30.
meetings, so.
No, I know, but
I'm open.
End of the day would work for me on the 3rd.
What time is the end of the day? Noon for you?
Oh, my.
piling on tonight.
It's getting good. I just.
Tell him 7 PM, see how he reacts to that.
I'm
My wife would like that.
5:30 on the 3rd. Does that work for majority? Except for Joan? Does that work for you?
Yeah.
And Fred, you? Does that work for you, Brad?
Yeah, I'll make that work.
Let's do it on March 3rd at 5:30. I just need a motion for that. Sorry, Joan, you can't, I mean, it's sometimes tough, but.
I'll make a motion to have a work session Tuesday the 3rd at 5.
Perfect.
Second.
Any more discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. And like I said, I'll do it, they have an hour and a half. Work session, 7 o'clock, we'll be done, so. Perfect. Reports, Brian.
Yep, just mention again, on February 25th, Wednesday, the 25th, we'll be having the neighborhood meeting for the Pleasant Road project. It's a lot of neighbors because there's a lot of road there and a lot of homes.
What was that date again that you told me?
February 25th at 6 PM. So next Wednesday, 6 PM, right here in council chambers. The pool project. So we opened bids at 2 PM on Tuesday this week. We're not ready to put numbers out yet. Rebecca still got some work to do to look at, vet all the numbers and the bidders. But I can tell you, we had 5 bidders. A couple of them bid on multiple contracts. So the numbers I'm going to give now won't jive. But the contract number 1, we had 2 bids, which that's the pool construction. Contract 2 is mechanical. We had 2 bids for that one also. And the general construction contract number 3, we had 3 bids. But we're optimistic at this point. That's all Burbach would allow me to say. We'll have more shortly, but they have to, it's the bidding stuff, and we're not going to award till the 5th, and they have to make sure they've got the numbers correct before we put anything out. And part of that is also calling some references from the low bidders to make sure that we are able to accept low bidders. So once they get all that done, then I'll get more information out to everybody and the pool committee as to where we're at with the bids. So, the transportation alternative grant, as you recall, last year we talked about what's it going to cost to replace the trestle bridge, and $2 million. That's a steel bridge, concrete deck, kind of like what you see in Pine Island on the Douglas Trail and back there. We're after some transportation alternative grant dollars. We can request $1,472,000 of the $2 million is what the TA grant would fund for us. Last February, we received $525,000 from the District 6 Area Transportation Partnership. Grateful for that. We brought it back this year. Last Friday, Bill and I presented again. The presentation went extremely well. Great questions. It was received very well. So we're hopeful. I'm hoping to find out tomorrow. Last year it strung out for a long time, but we're hoping that they make a decision here. And that would be the remaining $947,000. Last year's money is $2029 is when we'll get that. And then if we're lucky enough to be chosen for the rest of it, that'll be $2030. So if we have that money in place, then we'll have to start shifting in our capital planning to make that work at that time. So
That gives us 4 years if we get that, then that's figure.
4 years, 3.5, 3 to 4, because we can start with the $29 and then finish later. And there are ways, if we wanted to do it sooner, there are some ways of shifting dollars and borrowing someone else's grant dollars. I don't understand all of it, but I would envision that it's going to take us a while to massage that into our capital planning. So Jeff and I have already started talking about that if it happens. Well, it's going to happen. We had to commit to doing the project last year to accept the $525,000. So.
Because that repair we did on there, that was like a 5 to 10 year repair.
That was a 3 to 4 year, 4 to 5 year, something like that. 4 to 5 year maybe is what it was, is what we had asked for. So yeah, it'll be about that time. It should still be fine up until that point, you know. So we'll let you know as soon as I know something.
A question on the 900.
Yep.
That when we're out seeking grants, is that the total amount that they're going to give out? Or that was just the portion of the grant that we were asking, we would like 900, and maybe there's $6 million out there that.
Now
that
there's
is
about
grant money?
1.5 or 1.6, I think.
And then we're asking, could we get the 900?
Yeah, we were asking for 1.4 last time, and we finished second and got 525 because that was what was remaining after they funded the number 1 project.
So it's either 900 or will they do another 500 or?
They can,
Possibly.
they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want.
Yep, they could ask if we'd take less, if they wanted to, if they had two really good projects, and they want to split it, then yeah, absolutely, they could ask that. But I did, somebody asked the question, you know, what if we don't get this rest of this money? I said, well, you know, I understand that we committed to doing the project and we will make that work, but it's gonna, you know, be very hard with our capital plans, road projects that we need to do, possible development and roads that we need to finish for developments in which we assess the gravel parts of the roads, but we have to carry that cost for 10 years on an assessment typically. I said, so it could affect development in Zumbrota. So, yeah, so that question was asked and those are the realities of it. So we'll see.
So it's in our best interest if we get that money that we try to figure out how to do it. I mean, by 2030, it'll be $2.5 million.
Yes, that's a consideration as well. You know, if we can do it earlier, fit it in earlier, probably gonna be cheaper. But then we're gonna have to ship the road project or something, and we're gonna pay more for that road project down the line. So it's gonna be a balancing act. But yeah, those are decisions. I hope we have to make those decisions.
Any more questions for Brian on that? Perfect. Any more?
Nope, that's enough for me.
Thanks, Brian. Mike, do you have any comments or thing?
Nope, not tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Chief?
Just update here with our sergeant position. I got a final offer out to Ms. Minor, and so she accepted that. We have an anticipated start date of March 9th. So we're looking forward to getting started with her and get the training process and hopefully get her on the road sooner than later. So that's all I got.
That was gonna be my question if you didn't answer it. What was the start date? Thanks, Chief. Sarge, do you have anything to add? Jeff? James?
Just one item of good news. We were the recipients of $10,000 from the Carnegie Corporation of New York. So since we're kind of making fun, poking fun at Bob tonight, maybe he was alive when this was done, but in 1908.
He was two, but.
Andrew Carnegie had built the library for this town. It was the first library here, physical building, and they just decided out of the blue to give us more money 100 years later. So.
Do you have certain things you have to do or can do with it, or is it just kind of on the?
It was unrestricted.
Do you have any ideas or plans what you want to do with it?
We talked a little bit about library board, about how to use the funds. Nothing specific at this time, but kind of waiting to see where some of these big capital things that we got to spend come out before I make a final decision on that.
Perfect, perfect. Thanks, James. Good news. Miles.
Nothing from me.
Thank God.
Nothing?
No. I have nothing. Joan? Kevin?
Just a couple things for the ambulance committee. We're going to be meeting on the 25th and we'll be discussing the 2027 assessments, what the costs will be. The new ambulance has arrived. It's being wrapped right now with graphics, adding medical equipment and all the supplies to it. So for the next few weeks, they're down to 2 ambulances while that one's getting wrapped. And the last one here, Minnesota Office of Emergency Medical Services did their biennial inspections for the Zumbrota area ambulance. And this is the 3rd consecutive inspection that they have received at 100% compliance, which is very difficult to do even one time, let alone 3 times in a row. So very much to be thankful for what they have accomplished there and the stewardship and care that they show for all the equipment that takes care of the residents of Zumbrota and the surrounding community. So thanks so much to them.
Question for you, because I don't know the answer. Do you guys meet monthly or is it quarterly?
There's a monthly board and then the full board meets twice a year.
Okay.
That meeting is on the,
I've never been to, I mean, I've been just about every meeting. It'd be interesting to sit down on that and just to kind of see the structure of that.
next full board meeting is the 25th, next Wednesday.
Oh, we already have some. What time is that one at, do you know?
That doesn't start till 7.
7 o'clock.
Okay. And I assume you attend all those too?
Most of them, yes.
Okay.
Which ones I
Scheduled,
can't,
yeah.
Beth
I get it,
fills
I
me
get
in
it.
on. Yep.
Perfect. Thanks. Good news. Brad?
Is the park board going to be included in that work session?
Good idea, yes. Yeah, I thought about that this morning as well. Well, at least for the part about the pool.
Yep.
For sure. Yeah, because we'll be discussing, hopefully we'll be discussing next steps.
Yep, the whole park board.
Well, the park board and the pool committee too.
Yep.
I should probably invite them,
Yep.
just like we did before, a combined meeting. So, yeah, that's a good point. I'll get that posted right away.
Perfect. Anything else, Ben? Nope. Meeting adjourned.
Started getting hard now.